Hi, there's a lot of noise in the generative AI space right now, and it's ranging from funny memes like this one, which I enjoy quite a bit, right? You have Waterfall, which gets you a car, Agile gets you kind of a car, supposedly. I'm a fan of Agile, but AI, right? Start with part of a car, but then you end up with a rubber ducky, and that's very funny. And then here, right, we have AI is taking jobs. Is it taking jobs? I don't know. But there's a lot of noise, right? And then there's a whole spectrum of labor market concerns and exactly what AI can do. Hi, my name is Jack Jin. I've been with content management consulting space for 19 years, and then been doing Adobe stuff for the past 13, and really focused on Adobe, AI, and Azure work. And how I tell my friends what I do that's not part of consulting or technology is I just tell folks I'm the chief nerd, right? I lead projects. I make sure the client knows what we're building, make sure my team, onshore and offshore, knows exactly what we're building, and end of the day, be accountable for the entire technical solution. So we have a lot of content, but I really want to walk you through it all. And at the end, if you watch to the end, there will be a special diagram that we can end the video with, just some random dots. All right, so here's the challenge I have for myself. I decided to write 0 lines of code and then kind of push the limits a little bit. I went with a new framework, right? So it's not a language I know. And to kind of keep things simple, I am going to set up the infrastructure in Azure and then just going to try this out. 0% code written, and I'll go really hard on agentic AI and push its limits. All right, without further ado, let's jump into a demo and we can see what's going on there. Here today, we have a demo of release 1.0, something I've been working on. Before we go further, let's show off the functionality. So here we have a 100% AI coded agent, and now I'm just typing something simple. Login form with reset password and a register link. Please make it modern. Something simple, has it for a demo. And then while this thing is going, I'll kind of run through it. And it's a bit of a technical demo, so I'm choosing to have my network tab open so the team and whoever watches this can have a deeper dive if they choose. So one of the design decisions I'm making versus using ANN or one of the agentic things, right? There's a dime a dozen of those things out there, is so that I want this to be public facing, right? I don't want to give out Azure passwords, NAA accounts, right? And those cost money. This is free. Thanks Amazon for hosting the CloudFront, right? And then I can, reverse proxy into whatever I want. So here in my technical demo, I am kind of doing a few things, right? As an AI agent, I'm able to, generate some design concepts, right? I'm generating 5 of these. And here, right, I'm also evaluating, right? So we're having the AI evaluation. There's some fallback stuff, which is great. And then here, we kind of select what we think is the best one to move forward. All this is done in agent, right? So kind of demonstrating that agent deciding things and reasoning and figuring out what's best. And then here, we're kind of doing something pretty cool. We're generating 3 Figma specifications in parallel, right, with various components and all the Figma stuff. And then this is the part that I think I like the most, is the evaluation. So then AI kind of, unlike the previous one, which is a little bit sloppy, this one dives in, right, and talks about, okay, here's the structure, this is my rating. It kind of, makes into a human readable output, right? It's almost like something I would have to do manually, but AI does this for me. Again, all this code, 100% AI coded, and the only framework I'm really using, or I should say AI is using, is really Next.js. Anywho, here we have more, right? So and then we have the overall summary of all 3, and then we kind of do an evaluation, right? Which is cool. And then lastly, you can download whatever you're working on. So here we have the download step, download artifacts, and you can see that, my screen share, I have the artifacts downloaded, so which is pretty cool. Now play around with yourself. The website link will be shared below, and then all this again 100% AI engineered. I guess I shouldn't say that 100% AI coded. I certainly did a lot of architecture and design and arguably engineering. All right, now the demo's over, let's talk about what did I actually do. So first thing is we did the PRD and MDC from YouTube video learnings, and I'll put out a link below. Very good to watch. And then one thing I'm adding on to this, so that it's clear for everyone that, here's a PRD, right? Product requirement design or document. And here is the MDC, all right, very much needed in AI-oriented world, right? You have AI Jira ticket that it kind of checks off its boxes, and it's really good. And then my personal addition is two things. First, is kind of like a technical blueprint, talks about how I wanted it built, and this adds a lot of consistency to the AI build. The diagram you're seeing here is Mermaid, so AI understands this diagram. It's actually not picture stored in GitHub. It's actually diagram as code. And then secondly, there's a feature I thought AI did a really great job building it with test-driven development, so I captured it here as well. Second, I have a different blog on this as well. Very important for AI to work and then to have CI/CD working. So here, I kind of talk about, here's all my GitHub flows that I'm seeing here. And then these are GitHub actions, right? Basically, every time I commit code, whether it's a snapshot or a release, right, it gets properly packaged and properly deployed so that it's all fully deployed. And then lastly, we talked about this in my previous blog, but it's really, really important for AI to be able to use Azure resources. And here you can see that Codex, right, my AI agent running on the cloud, is able to look at the code, merge code. Not all of them worked, right? Some of them I definitely didn't like it, but some of them, right, most of them, as you can see, I did end up merging the changes. Third, right, what's my role in this whole vibe coding thing, right? Well, I think first thing is realizing that I'm talking to someone, I'm talking to agents, right? And then there's ways of talking to agents. And one thing I learned is that I try to keep track of my good conversations, right? So I can learn to talk to agents better. So that's kind of my agent log, if you will, kind of logs different conversations I had AI with that's worth keeping. And then on a similar vein as well, just in code 3.0, which I'll link below as well, kind of talks about, nowadays you write code to talk to AI, right? And these things are sometimes in JSON files, what have you, right? So this is like an AI spec that you use to talk to AI with. Very cool stuff. Yeah, highly recommend everyone trying it. And then fourth thing that I learned is that I wanted to value a bunch of AI models, right? For me, Claude 4.0 is by far the best, right, in terms of the overall strong engineer. GPT is good. Codex is great, right? It's cloud-based. You just literally fire it off. However, just from overall learning experience, after 180 commits, right, 40 pull requests, it is not efficient to build things 100% AI yet. I definitely could have done it with AI's help a lot more efficiently. So I think the perfect merge here is engineer plus AI. All right, so conclusions, results, right? So 3 takeaways. First takeaway is that, right, I had led teams that use this, right, AI stuff at various success. I think as leaders, so it's really important that we not only enable, right, make sure access is given and whatnot, but really to guide, right, to kind of champion, to kind of show the team what it's capable of, right, and then make sure the team is using AI in the same way so that we're not going out of bounds. Second, right, documentation that AI can read as well as humans can read are very important, right? The PRD that's checked into the code base, the technical design document checked into the code base, as well as the release MDC, right? Think of it as a Jira ticket, also checked into the code base. In fact, AI says when stuff is done. Last point is, I'm having a lot of fun still. This is great. I'm starting to work on release 1.1. I'm already starting to work on Cypress with AI, right? To kind of work with AI to have a Cypress plan and figure out the user interface, right? How do we reverse engineer the code slash my requirements, right, into something that's good enough for AI to write automation testing in. Well, thank you for watching, and as promised, there was a fun diagram I drew at the end. This is kind of dystopian, but I thought it was a good thought process here. Well, thank you for watching, and hope everyone have a great day.